you're the main character in the life of your movie, right? You're just in a scene right now, but you haven't seen the whole movie. But when you do, it's going to be your favorite film of all time.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
We're here today, Health in the Real World, talking to Cory Stone. Cory is in the film industry, so a little bit different than I think some of our guests in the past, but I really wanted to get him on and talk about his strategy. So Cory, give us a quick synopsis of your studio, of CW Studios. What is that? Like, what's your mission? Like, what are you trying to achieve in this world?
Well, thanks for having me on, Chris. I'm very happy to be here. I know this is it a little bit out of the field, but we're going to weave it because I think that everything really comes down to health and fitness and knowing yourself. So to answer your question, CW Studios is a lifestyle website. I've taken on some clients and I'm helping them sort of understand their lifestyle, how to chase their dreams, because that's what I'm doing right now. And I love to show people what I'm doing, how they can access their full being and potential in this life. And that's what I've been doing. So I'm on social media. I've been talking with a few clients to try to unlock their life, and whether that be the body or the mind, to try to chase and catch those dreams that they're going to be most fulfilled in, then that's what I'm here to do. It's very, very important to me. The more that I become aware of my own life, the more health and my body have been important to me. So it's going up and up and up the more that I become more and more aware of how fleeting life is, how temporary it could be. So, and that's when I've really started to understand how important health and fitness is, you know.
So what are some things that you've done, like not being like directly in the health field, but still valuing it as something that's very important for you? What are some things that you've done, some tactics, or like what sort of habits have you created? Like what are you doing in that regard?
Yeah, so when I first moved down to Los Angeles, health and fitness really got me into a place where I could start to access patterns and beliefs and structures that were holding me back. And so I really got into fitness, really working out all the time, because it pushed me to really, really get to know myself, get to know where those breaking points, where am I scared to go, where am I too scared to go past. So I was doing a lot of high intensity interval training, and it really pushed me to know myself and know my body and my limits. And then I learned that I don't really have limits. There aren't a lot of limits to what I can do in this life. And it sort of, was an early onset at helping me doing that. And then I've taken a break from a lot of that because I've got a lot of other stuff going on right now. But yeah, it's very, very important. So I guess I try to maximize my workouts to be there, the least amount of time, but the most efficiency in a workout. So the high intensity has been great for that. And
what do you tell somebody who's maybe trying to get into the film industry, specifically? Well, maybe advice about like what they should be doing, but also specifically how to brace your body for the long haul. I would imagine that not very many people achieve like immediate success, so you kind of have to be willing to take the hits. How do you keep your body healthy? How do you know what I mean? Like, how do you keep your body healthy for that long, maybe decades before anything big happens?
Yeah, it's really understanding your priorities and your preferences. If you are going to be a workaholic, then your body is not going to be able to catch up to the amount of work that your mind is doing. Or you really start to understand when you are hitting a lot of barriers in this field, and it's taking you a while to kind of break through, that you are really the only thing that you have to rely on. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of meetings and going on, people talking with each other. Time has to go by for things really to start happening. So what I recommend is that you really get in touch with yourself, your body, your mind, how those two things are working together, so you can rely on, the only vehicle that you have. And with that comes, health and fitness. You're going to be in it for the long game, right? Life is really long, but when you look at it in the span of, hundreds of thousands of years, we're really not here for that long. So you want to maximize the time you want to be on this planet by really making sure that, your body and mind are working well together. And then you go out into the field and use what you can to do that. But at least you're connected here, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. What are some things I mean, are you guys getting into very like nitty-gritty specifics, or, like I want to achieve this goal in the next 3 months, or more big picture, like what are your values and how do you align with your values, or maybe a little bit of both, or how do you kind of work that?
Yeah, so I can go as broad as they want or as specific as they need, but usually it starts with a movie. I work with a lot of fans of movies, because I believe that there's a way that their favorite movie is actually a connection to who they are. There's stuff that their favorite movie is telling them that maybe they don't quite understand. And I have a little bit of background in that, where I can take their favorite movie and learn about them as a person and sort of tie that into where they're going, where they want to be, what sort of barriers are blocking their way. So usually we start there. We start at who you are, why you're relating to this film, because there's a character there that has a lot of similarities with who you are. And so we break that down. We start to build that world out, and then we go from there. So yeah, very, very broad or very specific. We go as, what do you want to do in your life,
Yeah.
to as specific as, like, how are you managing the thoughts going on in your head, or how do you break through that fear that seems to be holding you back? You know what I mean?
This is the part that for me was very interesting, that you're doing almost like, I mean, I've had like life coaches and people like that, and you're doing this through movies. Like, I think that's fascinating. Like, what's your favorite movie? All right, let's talk about the movie. And in the process of talking about the movie, there are all these characters. Who do you identify with? What kind of blocks did they have in the movie? How did they overcome it? How can you maybe overcome those same blocks in your real life? I
Yeah,
think it's fascinating, and especially now, post COVID world, we're so into movies even more than ever.
right.
Movies, Netflix binges, there's so many characters to get into. And um, so as you were talking, two things popped into my head. One,
Sure.
I think my favorite movie of all time is Keeping the Faith, with Edward Norton and Ben
Yeah,
Stiller,
Ben Stiller, excellent.
the priest and the rabbi, and then secondly, right now, we're currently in the middle of an Outlander binge. So
Excellent.
have you seen Outlander?
No, I haven't, but I've heard about it.
Outlander
I've,
is
I've seen
pretty
Keeping the
awesome,
Faith.
man. Like, it's so far, I think it's 5 seasons. I think they're gonna do a sixth. It's basically, the premise is they travel through time. They go back 200 and something years, and
Nice.
they're basically rewriting history as they are witnessing history. It's fascinating. It's just an
Really, that's
amazing story.
very cool.
Yeah. So this is really interesting. Like, I've never heard of what you do,
Yeah.
literally. And that's, again, when I was talking to your dad, I'm like, what? He's doing that? That's amazing. How how did this start? How did you start talking to people about movies and in turn helping them with their lives?
So what CW Studios is, it's actually built like a movie studio. It's a website that you can actually go and take the tour. And I've made it like an experience where you can actually go in to every department and go through this studio tour and learn about me and learn what it means to have these things come to fruition for you, right? So that being said, when I was building it, all of this was happening just as we were going. Always it was coming up in the present moment. And because I was able to sort of let go in a way, these things were coming through me, the same things that grow my hair and my fingernails. You know what I mean? Life force was sort of moving through me. And so what CW Studios is it's all the aspects of who I am. Every department is specific to different parts of me, different aspects of who I am. There's a music department, there's a script department, there's a thought spot where we talk about health and fitness, right? So it was just too big for me to go secular. I had to go wide with everything because there was so much that I wanted to do in this space. I wanted to have conversations and collaborate with people, maybe not all the way in my field, right? So this space allows those barriers to be broken down, right? Everyone to collaborate and come together so we can talk about the same conversation. So in the beginning, I was just writing screenplays. I loved
Mm.
movies. I'm a screenwriter, so I was just popping off a lot of different movies. But I was also at the same time learning self-connection, self-awareness, self-help, and really understanding what it's like to be, in the headspace to get out of the way of yourself. And these things were separate for a very long time. And
Yeah.
in that struggle, there was a lot of struggle there because I was trying to force these two things together, but didn't quite know how to get there. Right. But, eventually time goes by, you expand your awareness, your writing gets better, and you really start to understand that why do we love film? Like, why do you like the TV shows that you watch, Chris? It's because that
Man,
you identify with the
identify,
character.
right. I identify with the characters. I can sort of feel what they're struggling with. And it's
Yeah.
inspiring when they break through and they figure it out and something miraculous happens and there's
Because
the
you want
happy
that
ending, right?
because
Yeah.
you want that for your own life,
Right.
right? We watch these characters and go, man, what they're going through is crazy. And I'm so obsessed with this character and what they're going through.
Yep.
Why? Because you're going through the same stuff right now. You, as a
Right.
character, you're the main character in the life of your movie, right? You're just in a scene right now, but you haven't seen the whole movie. But when you do, it's going to be your favorite film of all time because we like that struggle and we like to watch characters because they have that low awareness. They haven't seen the whole picture. They're going through something right now, but they haven't seen the following scene where something breaks through, something unlocks, something happens in their environment and sets them free, right? And we're obsessed with that because we want that in our own life. And so when I started to learn that for myself, touch up against the market, I'm finding that we all are curious about our own life and how to unlock it. And movies have been the segue between those two things.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one of the phrases I was thinking even before you said it was getting out of your own way. And it sounds like
Mm.
as you were building this, you just sort of like surrendered and you're like, I don't know where this is going. Which in a lot of movies that happens with the character. They
Sure.
thought it was going to go a certain way, and then they're like, you know what? I don't know what way it's going to go. I'm going to let go, and then all of a sudden it's better than they ever imagined, right?
It's better. It's
And
way
again, like you
better.
said, that's what we all want. We all we all want that movie to have that happy ending, and and I agree with you. Like sometimes just surrendering, just letting the process happen, and then all of a sudden, 2 in the morning, I'm sure this has happened to you. You just get this idea, and that one idea at 2 in the morning changes your entire life, and then you're just
Absolutely.
like, you thought you were going this way, now you're going that way. It's incredible what you're doing. I think it's such a great idea. I think it's just like
Thanks, Chris.
you're taking your passion with movies and then applying it to this very big picture thing.
Mhm.
One thing I was thinking too is it's interesting how this sort of like concept of self-awareness and self-reflection is, and again, I used the term life coach earlier. You can call it a yoga master, a guru, or whatever term you want to say, but has been very closely tied to the health and wellness industry. Like I've never heard it tied to the film industry. That's what it's so cool. It's like, why can't you use a film to become enlightened, to have a personal breakthrough, to have a connection, to, somebody else's favorite film is the same as your favorite film. All right, let's talk. This is awesome.
Exactly.
So,
I mean, I speak with people who, I was speaking with a lady the other day. We were talking about her favorite film, and all of a sudden she goes, "Oh my gosh, the main character is has the same name as my father," right?
wow.
It's stuff like that that just is crazy, crazy miracle kind of stuff. And you're like, there's something really happening here. You were connected to that movie because it has to do with you and your father, right? There's
Right,
something there that needs to be explored.
right,
And what I'm doing with the studio, when I'm mixing sort of different fields together, you can literally do that in your own life, right? The
right.
person who I'm talking to can literally combine the things that they love into something that's never been done before, right? We need to get out of the paradigms of working for somebody else, right? I think everything is moving more individually based brand, lifestyle
Right,
kind of stuff.
right.
And so I just want to help people, unearth that from within them.
So, Corey, if you were called to like a corporation or like a university, what's your motivational speech for them? Like really big picture, weave in the movies, maybe even weave in your favorite movie. What's like, how do you condense your message into 1 to 2 minutes for that motivational talk?
Yeah, exactly. So people out there, you are the main character in the movie of your life, right? You just haven't seen the whole movie. You might be struggling with something right now, but you haven't seen what happens in Act 3. And Act 3 gets really, really, really good. So what I guess I want to leave with you today is try not to get so caught up in the character of your life, right? Try to take a step back and see the whole picture. See the big picture. Get out of your own shoes, right? And then you can start to look at yourself from a higher place. You can look at yourself as being a character in your own story, right? And then you can sort of start to understand yourself more. You can have more compassion in your life. You can have more compassion for what's happened in your past, right? And you can have hope for the future. And I think if you know, get out of the way of your own self in terms of that, then you start to understand your life in a way that maybe you haven't with those blinders closed. And so I want you to understand that, you know, if you're trying to get healthy, if you want to start something new in your life, please understand that you're already there. You're already healthy. But the process becomes in taking away those fears, those you know, past traumas in your life, to really you know, realize yourself as a healthy human being. And I think that we all are our perfect self already, but we just got a lot of stuff blocking it. And if we take that stuff away, then you find out who you are and what you really want to do in this life. And I think, you know, CW Studios can help, and also Chris as well.
Like the story of the golden Buddha. Have you heard the story?
Please remind me, because I think it might be
So I
good.
guess in the 1940s or something, there was a monastery up in the Himalayas, and they were cleaning the statue, and then this big Buddha statue, brown Buddha statue, and they were cleaning it, and a piece chipped off of it. Oh no, I'm in big trouble. I just broke the Buddha. But then they noticed it was really shiny, and so they say, hey guys, come here. So they end up cleaning it off. Anyway, there's gold, pure gold. The statue's made out of gold. And what happened was several hundred years before, I guess, they covered it in mud and concrete type mixture that was very,
Yeah.
very tight, because they didn't want it to be obviously taken. And so as you were talking, I was just thinking that it's like all of us have like sort of a golden Buddha inside of us. And like you said, we already are it. We just need to scrape off all the extra crap that's not
Yeah,
us,
man.
that we put
Completely.
on all those layers of
Yeah.
protection, kind of, right?
And it's true, man. I'm not just speaking from some airy fairy dreamy place. I've been through the process every single day of what it takes to uncover that gold. And when you find the well, buddy, this stuff keeps coming, right?
Yeah.
And they're not ready for what's going to happen, because we're just going to do big things, because it's always coming up. This stuff is always magic. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Cory, how do people get in touch with you, with CW Studios, working with you, watching your stuff, social media? What's your
yeah,
website?
exactly. So all of my social media handles are CW Stone Studios, CWSTONE Studios, STUDIOS. The website is .com. And if you log onto the website, you can find my beacons page, which is sort of the social media hub of CW Studios. And from that, it branches out everywhere. So come hang out. You can just hang out and watch. You don't have to simply get involved yet. But some big things are going to come in this near future here. And we're, you know, we're here to be a space for you, to offer services that you might need, and to help you chase those dreams.
Well, that's awesome. And I hope, you know, that those big things that are coming up, that you can get back on the show sometime in the near future. I really appreciate you coming on the show, Cory. This is like very fascinating to me and so unique. So, and I'm really impressed with everything that you're doing. I think it's awesome.
I appreciate it, Chris. I'll come back anytime you need me, man. This space is amazing, and I can talk about this until I go blue in the face. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World Show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.